Green.
We've been engaged for what, 2 years?
Yeah.
2 years.
We invited this group of couples because we thought it was.
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book 91. We're talking to you guys about Nick Young and Keonna, and we're dealing with their particular relationship. There's a big gap between the two of them at the moment. They're not even having sex at the moment. It's really peak. But listen, there is a big thing that I think I've spoken about previously in other videos. Nick is saying, I just want to relax after a hard career. Keonna is saying, I want to go out there and I want to earn my career. And now we're in two opposing places, and it seems to be a common theme that seems to be happening amongst these men. And I got asked this question where I'm starting to see, I hate to say it, where Manosphere and Red Pill are kind of getting it right, where it's like in some aspect, or I should say, I can take an aspect of what they say. Don't marry young, and this is kind of proving it a little bit. Like marrying young seemingly gets these men into trouble because they're marrying young, working hard, and the lady that they have is thinking about when he finally settles, I too want to go out there and achieve and make it big, which is not really a problem until the man says, I just want to relax. I want to enjoy my spoils. I want to just love and enjoy. And so there's a big conversation around that as well. So we're going to have a little big discussion around Keonna and Nick, and talk about some real things. So if you're new to the channel, do me a massive favor, like it, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of the uploads. And for those of you who are returnees, you already know what it is, baby. You got the minerals. You got the minerals. Listen, we're going to intro go. Little Black, you know what time it is. 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 Yes, we're talking to you guys about Nick Young and Keonna from Couples Retreat. It's mad. And it's mad because obviously when you look at these two, I actually remember I did a video, I think some months back, actually, maybe even last year, on Nick and Keonna, and I was talking about the fact that this whole situation with Iggy Azalea or whatever, right? Now, look, this relationship has gone through the twists, the turns, and it's gone through the ups and downs, and he's found himself back here with her. Now, I would say the reason why he probably found himself back with her is not because he couldn't get someone else, but maybe because of what she offers emotionally, he couldn't get anywhere else. And that's a big thing, right? But having that emotional connection and emotional safety is a very big thing. Maybe he couldn't get that anywhere else with any other woman, and he decided to keep his family together and stay with Keonna. Either way, we're looking at a situation now where then they made a comment, I think later on, about not even having sex. And you know what? It's kind of evident. And I'll tell you why it's kind of evident. If you look, but I said to you guys about how comfortable people are in terms of their spatial awareness. Let me just fast forward this so you can get this. Keonna and Nick they actually have a gap between the two of them. Listen to this. Sorry about that.
My fiance, Keonna Green.
We've been engaged for what?
Look at the gap here, baby. It's a very big gap compared to everyone else who was doing their thing. It's a huge gap. It's not big, but it's huge. It's not big, but it's huge. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is in the sense of the comfortability of being next to each other. Now, a little bit later on, they actually get their hands together again, and actually they're really cool. But I think they showed us this clip. A TV shows us clips for this on purpose. They want to form a narrative, and I'm going to pick it up. And so that gap between the two of them is really important because I think it shows how comfortable they are physically with one another, and that often starts emotionally. How vulnerable are we emotionally? That normally leads to physical intimacy as well. Now, I think with Nick and Keonna, they're having their biggest issues around the way that they are able to see each other in their emotional or their most vulnerable points and what they're wanting from one another, right? She says later on she's ready to do things for herself. We can go to that clip there. And, I think that was also important because I think it starts to open up doors, right?
Now that Nick is no longer playing and we're both home, I feel like there's a lot of us, bumping heads. I'm ready to do.
This is also a big thing as well about now he's not playing. Again, this is similar to the Chris and the Monique situation in LAMDC. And it's like, what does a man do when he realizes his career is over? Something like sports where there's immediate gratification for a thing that you do. You play basketball that day, you get points. The crowd is shouting at you at the same time. And after that, they give you plaudits. There's news articles. There is a whole host of things validating how great you are. And then you finish the game and then you're like, the validation is no longer there. And a lot of times that validation, the reason why people love it so much is not because the crowd is so great or the affection is so great. It's because originally, before they became a basketball player, a footballer, a soccer player, a sportsman, somebody in the media, they never had that validation in the first place, or it wasn't enough. And thus the crowd and the audience became a validating tool. And when that's taken away from them, they feel like something is missing. This is why kids need validation from early, to help them form their identity and not to be sucked into a world where they constantly crave that validation. Now, I think in a when it slows down and then you enter into a relationship, a marriage, there's obviously a give and take, but the aspect of wanting just to relax is not there at the moment for Nick Young. Let's have a look.
Do things for myself. He's used to me just being kind of like at his beck and call. But since I've gone back to school, he needs to be with the kids more. So it's causing a lot of friction in our relationship right now.
For a while, we have a
So there needs to be a real conversation. You can see that on the sofa. They are far away from each other. You notice that? You notice that he's far away from the sofa? You notice that he's sitting on the opposite end of a sofa? There's a real reason for that. Emotionally, they're not connecting, which means physically they're not going to connect. Now, she said something really interesting. She said, I'm doing my schooling. I'm going back to schooling. He needs to spend time with the kids. And it's causing issues between the two of them. Do you know why? Because he's not telling the absolute truth about how he feels. Look, you should be happy to want to spend time with your kids. You've played your sport now. You've killed it off. You've done what you did. Now you can relax and look after your kids and just spend time with them and enjoy. But you're not fulfilled, are you? You're not fulfilled because you want your woman there, right? And you want her in that same position you had her when you're playing ball, but she isn't in the same position necessarily anymore. And I think the bigger issue here is this as well, that you feel like you're being laden with the kids and not actually having free time. You're still laden with a responsibility. But actually, it's got to be spoken of, right? Someone might say, well, the lady had to look after the kids the whole entire time. Well, yeah, he was making money the whole entire time. That's what his job was. That was the trade-off. But now we have to look at a situation where, okay, be honest with her. Let her know, listen, look, when I retired, I wanted to relax. I wanted to relax. I wanted to chill. All right, cool. You want to chill? That's great. But the kids are here. So we're going to have to find a way now of incorporating the kids into our relaxation time. Whether that means we give a nanny for a day or two, whether that means we give the kids to our grandma or, your mom or my mom or whatever, and they have time and then we get to spend time together. He's got to be also proactive in wanting to spend time with his missus. Look, and I'm sure he probably wants to have more time with her, but he's probably looking at it from a lens of, as soon as I finish basketball now and I want to relax my family, that's when my wife decides she wants to also go off. So now the time that I want to spend with her, she wants to now go off. And then when you feel that sense of rejection, what it does, it closes the gap, it closes the door for vulnerability. It's like, oh, if she just wants to go off, all right, cool. He's going to probably end up cheating again, because what he's really looking for is connection. He's looking for intimacy. I want to be close to you. But when rejection comes in, there's an aspect of pushing away, right? So he needs to be very frank and very open about how he feels. This is what men suffer with, because they don't open their mouths and it comes out looking mad. Bro, tell her, I want to spend time with you. I know you're going to school, but what it's made me feel like is that as I've quit balling, you've now decided you want to go out, and this is a perfect time for us to spend time together and get to know each other. Question is, why does she want to go to school? She wants to earn her own living, want to make her own money, want to do her own thing, right? And for men, sometimes this can feel like, yeah, you want to get your own stuff, but I've got enough money to cover for us. So why do you want to suddenly do your own thing now, right? When I was balling, you didn't want to do that. And that's how it can come across as looking as what are you planning? Then it's suspicion that kicks in rather than actually it being a case of she just wants to go and do her own thing. But it's because we're not being honest with one another about how it makes us feel. Once we can get the feeling out the way, we can actually deal and address with the actual issue at hand. Because the feelings are coming from somewhere, right? They're coming from somewhere, right? So let's have a look, just to kind of prove what we're saying about even the intimacy part. They talk about it. They talk about how when you look at a photo, it's not a real photo. That's not how they are. Let's have a look.
At the same time, I do want to celebrate my woman. I want everybody to know.
So the affection is real.
Yeah,
but the photo is staged.
I just want to go out more and be like, have fun again.
So he wants to go out more, have fun, and she rolled her eyes. Did you see she rolled her eyes at that point in time? Whether she didn't believe him at that point in time. And again, it is I'm not even going to get on her. I think it's more of a case of she don't believe what you're saying because there hasn't been action. So there has to be actionable situations here, right? So he needs to be able to show action that he actually wants his intimacy, which means I have to put forth effort going forward. Now, I may put forth effort going forward, but it may not be read as having effort. So we need to really discuss, what do you mean when you say you want more time, more intimacy with me? What do you mean? Do you want sex, or do you want to go out for different events? You want to go out and do different things. So, like, you got to make it very plain. And then she's got to also let him know, like, okay, this is what also I want when it comes to intimacy and going forward as well. We need to make it plain so the picture is very clear, so that we don't miss each other and speak a different language, even though we're speaking the same language. You know what I mean?
And instead of being like, we like roommates.
I still don't even know exactly what it is, but I feel like there's something's missing in our relationship, and it's starting to really like show, you know, because like you said, you know, we're roommates. I don't want to.
They've become roommates because of, like I said, the lack of emotional vulnerability from both of them. They've closed themselves off. Obviously, maybe the cheating aspect, or the allegation of cheating, whichever way you want to call it, you know, and him feeling maybe a sense of rejection as well. There's an aspect of this emotional close off, because this is the conversation they should be having. The thing that's missing is it's a conversational piece about how do you really feel, and then we can start putting a plan together how we're going to move forward, right? But it's about, first and foremost, assessing, what does it mean to you, and what does it mean to me? We need to know each other's pictures so that we don't miss each other as well. But listen, I'm going to leave it there. Listen, guys, like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of uploads. We appreciate you. We're tuning in for episode 2.